Next is failure of classical wave theory. The wave picture of light could not explain the basic features of light as explained below. Number 1 is according to wave theory, when a wavefront of light strikes a metal surface, the free electrons at the surface absorb the radiant energy continuously. Greater the intensity of incident radiation, greater are the amplitude of electric and magnetic fields, and greater is the energy density of the wave. Hence, higher intensity should liberate photoelectrons with greater kinetic energy. But this is contradiction to the experimental result that the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons does not depend on the intensity of incident radiation. Second point, no matter what the frequency of incident radiation is, a light wave of sufficient intensity should be able to impart enough energy required to eject the electrons from the metal surface. Thus, the wave theory fails to explain the existence of threshold frequency. Third point, the energy of light wave is smoothly and evenly distributed across its advancing wave front. Each electron intercepts an insignificantly small amount of this energy, and so it should require a finite time to escape from metal surface, but actually the emission is almost instantaneous. Next is Einstein theory of photoelectric effect. In 1905, Einstein explained photoelectric effect on the basis of Planck's quantum theory, according to which a light radiation travels in the form of discrete photons. The main points of Einstein theory of photoelectric effect are: number 1 is photoelectric emission is the result of interaction of two particles, one a photon of incident radiation and other an electron of photosensitive material. Second, the free electrons are bound within the metal due to restraining forces on the surface. The minimum energy required to liberate an electron from the metal surface is called work function of the metal. Third, each photon interacts with one electron. The energy of incident photon is used up in two parts. Part A part of energy of the photon is used in liberating the electron from the metal surface, which is equal to work function W naught of the metal. Here the incident photon strikes a metal, and the part of energy of incident photon, that is h nu, is used in liberating the electron from the metal surface, and the remaining energy of photon is used in imparting kinetic energy to the ejected electron. Number 4 point is very few photons whose energies are greater than W naught, that is work function, are capable of ejecting the photoelectrons. By energy conservation law, energy of incident photon is equal to maximum kinetic energy of photoelectron plus work function. So energy of incident photon is h nu, which is equal to kinetic energy half mv max square plus work function is represented by symbol W naught. So the expression for kinetic energy is half mv max square is equal to h nu minus W naught. If the incident photon is of threshold frequency nu naught, then its energy h nu naught is just sufficient to free the electron from the metal surface and does not give it any kinetic energy. So W naught is equal to h nu naught. So maximum kinetic energy is equal to h nu minus W naught. The value of W naught is h nu naught. Here nu naught represent the threshold frequency. So equation number 1 and equation number 2 are called Einstein's photoelectric equations and can be used to explain the laws of photoelectric effect as follows. Number 1 is explanation of effect of intensity. The increase of intensity means the increase in the number of photons striking the metal surface per unit time. As each photon ejects only one electron, so the number of ejected photoelectrons increases with increase in intensity of incident radiation. Second point, explanation of threshold frequency. If nu is less than nu naught, which means the frequency of incident radiation is less than threshold frequency, the kinetic energy of photoelectrons become negative. Means if this nu is less as compared to nu naught, so we get in the last expression of kinetic energy negative sign in front of h within bracket nu minus nu naught. So the negative value of kinetic energy has no physical meaning. So photoelectric emission does not occur below the threshold frequency. Next, third point, explanation of kinetic energy. If the frequency of incident radiation is greater than threshold frequency, then the kinetic energy, which is equal to half mv max square, is directly proportional to the intensity of incident radiation, which means above the threshold frequency, the maximum kinetic energy of the electrons increases linearly with the intensity of incident radiation. The increase in the intensity increases only the number of incident photons, not their energy. Hence, maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectrons is independent of the intensity of incident radiation. Last point, explanation of time lag. Photoelectric emission is the result of an elastic collision between a photon and an electron. Thus, the absorption of energy from a photon by a free electron inside the metal is a single event which involves the transfer of energy in one lump instead of continuous absorption of energy as in the wave theory of light. Hence, there is no time lag between the incidence of a photon and emission of a photoelectron. Next, particle nature of light, the photon. The photon picture of electromagnetic radiation. The observation on photoelectric effect clearly indicates that when light interacts with matter, it behaves as if it was made of discrete packets of energy called quanta. Each quantum of light has energy h nu and momentum h nu by c. The fact that a light quantum has definite energy as well as momentum allows us to associate a particle with it. This particle was called photon. Some basic features of photon picture of electromagnetic radiations are: number 1 is in the interaction of radiation with matter, radiation behaves as if it is made of particles called photons. Second, each photon has energy E, which is equal to h nu, and momentum P, which is equal to h nu by c, which is again equal to h upon lambda, and speed c, which is equal to speed of light in vacuum. Third point, all photons of light of a particular frequency nu or wavelength lambda have the same energy and momentum independent of the intensity of the radiation. Fourth point, photons are electrically neutral and are not deflected by electric and magnetic fields. Fifth point, in a photon particle or photon electron collision, the total energy and the total momentum are conserved. However, the number of photons may not be conserved in a collision. The photons may be observed or a new photon may be created. Last point, if the intensity of light of a given wavelength is increased, there is an increase in the number of photons incident on a given area in a given time, but the energy of each photons remains the same. Some other properties of photons are: number 1, the frequency of photon does not change as it travels from one medium to another. Second, the speed of a photon changes as it travels through different media due to the change in its wavelength. Since velocity is related with frequency and with lambda by this expression, velocity is equal to nu lambda. Since frequency of photon does not change as it travels from one medium to another, so velocity or speed of photon changes as it travels through different media due to change in its wavelength. Third point, rest mass of the photon is zero. That is, a photon can't exist at rest. Since we know that each photon moving with velocity c, that is with speed of light. So for a photon, v is equal to c. So according to relativistic variation in mass, the expression is m is equal to m naught divided by under root 1 minus v square over c square. From this expression, the value of m naught is equal to, here m naught represents the rest mass, m naught is equal to m under root 1 minus v square upon c square. So when we put the value of v equal to c, we get rest mass of photon is equal to 0. Fourth point, from energy mass energy relationship, the equivalent mass m of photon is given by E is equal to mc square, and we also know that E is equal to h nu. So the value of m equal to h nu upon c square. Last point, the linear momentum of photon is, as we know, momentum is equal to mass into velocity, and each photon is moving with speed of light, so momentum p is equal to mc, which is equal to h nu by c, which is again equal to h by lambda. So momentum is equal to h nu by c, which is again is equal to h upon lambda. As we know, c, speed of light or velocity of any materialistic particle, is equal to nu lambda. Here nu represents the frequency, lambda represents the wavelength. So c by nu is equal to lambda wavelength. So the value of nu by c is 1 by lambda. So the expression of photon is p is equal to h by lambda. Next is determination of Planck's constant and work function. According to Einstein photoelectric equation, the total energy of the incident photon equal to maximum kinetic energy plus work function, means the total energy imparted on incident particle or incident photon is used up liberating the bound electron from the metal surface, which is equal to work function W naught, and the remaining energy of the photon is used in imparting kinetic energy to the emitted electron. So From this equation, we get the expression for kinetic energy Kmax is equal to h nu minus W naught. If the stopping potential is V naught, then kinetic energy K is equal to E V naught. Because potential is equal to work per unit charge, work is equal to energy, that is kinetic energy, so Kmax upon E. So the value of Kmax is E V naught. By substituting this value of Kmax in this equation, we get E V naught equal to h nu minus W naught. So the value of stopping potential V naught is equal to h upon E into nu minus W naught upon E. We compare this equation with equation of straight line, which is equal to mx plus c. Here m represent the slope and c represent the intercept. So the plot between stopping potential and the frequency of incident radiation represents a straight line. Here the slope of this graph between V naught and nu is equal to h upon E, as it is clear from equation number 1. Here h upon E represent the slope, which is equal to m. As we know that slope is equal to tangent of theta, so tan theta is equal to AC upon BC, that is perpendicular over base. The value of m, as we calculated earlier, is equal to h upon E. So the value of h is equal to E multiplied by AC upon BC. Here AC upon BC represent the slope of the plot, stopping potential and frequency. So in this way we can calculate h, that is Planck constant, if we know about the slope of the plot between stopping potential and frequency of incident radiation. And here C represent the intercept. On comparing this and this, C is equal to minus W naught upon E, which represent the intercept on the vertical axis. So the value of W is equal to E multiply magnitude of the intercept on the vertical axis. So in this way work function W naught can be determined.